Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. It is a foggy day here, and I was thinking about going for a bike ride today, but I ended up just not doing it, taking another rest day off after the marathon over the weekend, and just getting some like long overdue stuff that I've been procrastinating for done. So it was kind of like, all right, I can go for a bike ride or I could do the stuff I've been procrastinating. If I would rather do the stuff that I've been procrastinating doing, then I'm tired. So I feel like, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, because I actually got a lot of productive things taken care of. And they didn't take as long as I thought they would. And that's how it always goes with things you procrastinate, isn't it? So I'm feeling good, nice and productive here today. But I'm also kind of like, maybe I should have gone for a bike ride earlier today. So that's how it always goes. You always regret the thing that you didn't do, even if the thing that you did do was really productive. Anyway, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast version. Hopefully you're on the bike today or you're out there on the run and getting it done. Hopefully it's not raining where you are. And hopefully you're not getting some of those crazy tornadoes and other weather patterns that I've been seeing on the news lately. It has been pretty incredible to see some of that footage. So hopefully all of you guys are safe out there. And everyone watching this on YouTube later, not live, welcome to you guys as well. Hopefully it's a nice relaxing part of your day and you can just enjoy the live stream. All right, let's see who we got in the chat. We got Sean says, hey everyone, with a wave, says watching some LA Marathon videos and wondering if Flores and Jimmy are available to hire for Boston. Well, Jimmy is a coach and he is for hire. His Instagram is, I think he's at Coyote Running is the name of his coaching business. And it's coyoterunning.com. If you are interested in working with Jimmy. But you know what? I think that I was talking about it yesterday. I was saying how I have a different appreciation for challenging courses now, having done this one and feel like I did really well, or, better than I thought I was going to do. Maybe not time-wise, but effort-wise, and kind of performance-wise. So, there's lots of things that I could have done differently, but I'm feeling really good about having conquered so many hills. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe more people should do that. Maybe people should run hilly races and not be afraid of them, and just go after it. So that way, when you do have a hilly race like Boston, like New York, it's not that big a deal. So that'd be my recommendation, Sean. But, I bet you if you call Jimmy, you can hire him to come out there and run Boston with you. Stevie76 says he's got a little, what is that emoji? Is that a train? I think I'm going to say it's a train emoji, like the little engine that could. I will. It worked. In the moment, it seemed weird. But when people say with self-talk, self-talk always feels silly when you do it, but it kind of works. So, yeah, I highly recommend trying it. Luis is here, says, yo, what's going on? Good to see you again, Luis. And Adam Steve says, yo, what's going on? Love the race recap vid, Mike. So many questions. Do you know what happened to the 3-hour pace group? All right, so I talked to one guy, Miguel. So do you guys remember from the video, there was at the 8-mile mark, I was talking to Drew and Miguel. Drew works for Tracksmith. And I met him the day before. I met Miguel the day before as well. Drew works for Tracksmith. I met him at the Tracksmith shakeout run the day before in Griffith Park. And Miguel, I met there as well. He said hi, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to be running in that 3-hour pace group. And he carried the flag for a long time too. And I was like, where did that 3-hour pace group go? I'm like, I felt like I lost touch with them. I certainly slowed down. So I feel like I lost touch with them earlier up ahead. But then I looked up Miguel's name and his time, and I was like, oh, he ran fast. So he ran I think he ran a 2:55 on the day or a 2:57, something like that. But he messaged me later on, and I was like, oh man, that pace group went real fast. But then he messaged me later on, and he said, he said his pacing duties were over at mile 20, and he was feeling good, so he went for it. And so the crazy thing is, I found Miguel at mile 1.5, mile 2, really early on in the race. And like I said, we'd been yo-yoing back and forth. Every time there was an uphill, he went much further ahead, and every time there was downhill, I would catch up to him. And at one point, he was like, yeah, the other pacer up there, I forget what his name was. He was like, the other pacer up there tends to go a little bit more aggressive in the beginning, and I go a little bit slower. I think it was like there may be 2 or maybe 3 of them that were like switching off carrying the 3-hour pacing flag. So yeah, so I think that like it was a little bit hot in terms of some of the pacing, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a lot of judgment calls that it's going to have to go into doing a pace group at a race like LA because there's so much just undulation, you know. I don't think that even pacing is the way to go for it. I think even effort is the right way to go. And it's like even effort on a downhill, I think is different, you know what I mean, for different people. So yeah, it's hard to figure out the pacing. Someone was saying that there were 9, someone mentioned in a comment that there was like 9 people between me and the 3-hour mark. So like, and then some of the people that I had been running with, they came in anywhere between like right after me to like up to 2 or 3 minutes. I went back and there was a guy that was running Endorphin Pros. I think his name was Robert, younger guy. And we ran together for a long time. Like when the 3-hour group like really got ahead of us, he was with me from like the first mile, I think. Because like looking at the footage, he was in a lot of the shots. And then I think I saw him until about mile 17 or 18. And then at that point, I think he fell off a little bit. But I think he came in at like a 3:03, 3:02. So like, I think the 3-hour pace group, those people that started together all ended up between like 2:55 and 3:05. This is kind of like the range that I seem to see out there. All right. Cal White says, hi all, happy to be able to tune in on time for once, for 30 minutes anyway. Well, we're glad to have you here while we got you here, Cal. All right. Let's see, let me scroll down a little bit. Run Tommy says, what's up? So close to sub 3. A handful of 3:02 to 3:06 races before I finally hit it. It will come. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm not like super obsessed about it. I think I mentioned this yesterday too. I'm not like trying to find like another race right away. I mean, I do have a race coming up in 2 weeks. I'm going to go to DC, but it's not because I need some sort of like another shot at it or anything like that. I feel really good. And so, you know, when it comes time to train for another marathon again, I'll train for another marathon again. I'll kind of keep working, but I'm not like, I don't feel like there's a lot of pressure, you know, which I think is a good thing. So like, on the one hand, I would have really loved to kind of like, you know, check this off the list for 2022. But I think that for the rest of the year, I'm going to be trying to tackle a variety of different race distances. So, you know, I'm not really sure what my training is going to look like over the next however many months or whenever it is the next time I take a crack at it. But, yeah, I mean, I would really like to get this taken care of in 2022. So hopefully within the next maybe 1 or 2 tries, I'll be able to get it. Brett Reed says, hey, Co-Fan, finally back. Congrats on the PR code. Thank you so much, Brett. And Luis says, today he took Canelo, his golden retriever, for a jog of 2 miles today. Felt good. Nice. I could go for a jog with the dog right now. That sounds like a lot of fun. Jonathan Crossley's here, says, it's been a minute. Hope everyone is doing well. Good to see you, Jonathan. And Eric DeRed says, yay, I got Kofuzi live. Good to see you again, Eric. Stephen C. 1984 says, yo, it's been nice in the UK. Warm and sunny for March. Yeah, I feel like that's not a sentence that the UK normally says, right? I was watching a 40 video. He reviewed he did like a first run video of the Nike Miler. And he's like, it's hot. It's really hot. My feet are hot. And I'm like, wait a minute. This video is like only a couple of days old. How is he hot? And it's like, well, it's unusual. They must be getting like a warm streak up there. Eric says he's got just a hard blowing wind out there on the front range of Colorado. Hilly 5-miler in the morning, but a super chill pace. 11-minute miles given the vert. Well, sounds nice. Sounds like a lot of fun. And Jeff Elliott says, I love the race recap video. It was tearing up around 20 minutes with the motivational stuff. Great work. Well, thanks so much, Jeff. I mean, it was originally 40 minutes long. I cut it down to a little bit to get it to just under 30. I feel like I feel like I said plenty. And I feel like I made a pretty good video. I feel good about it. I mean, at the same time, there's more to cover. And we've been talking about it for like the last 2 days. You know, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot to unpack in that race. So, and Edgar says, you know, it was never flat. That's right. That's right. Taggart tweeted out that he's like, Kofuzi says that it was never flat. So I thought that was pretty funny. Brandon Palmer says, hey, first timer here, welcome. He says, found you after watching the LA Marathon 2022 videos. A hometown friend ran his first professional race there. I'm working on getting back into marathon shape. Well, welcome, Brandon. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck. Good work getting back into marathon shape. Awesome. Love to hear it. And Jeff Elliott says, fourth in the age group is amazing. I was really surprised about that. I'm like, that's not right. I mean, I just basically spent the entire day not believing Jimmy and Flores, because Jimmy's the one that told me I got fourth in the age group. And I was like, no, just the race is big. Like, there's no way I could do that. But, and we talked about it the other day. Like, third place was like a 2:56. So I'm like, well, that podium is secure. There's no risk of me breaking that right now. But yeah, I'm feeling really good about it. I feel really good about that race. All around. Ines just come in from a 5K with Pip after work. Awesome. Setting sun is looking great in the clear sky tonight. Man, you guys, you're having such great weather. Here, it's a little bit chilly, and I think that it's the kind of fog that's just going to turn into rain eventually. So that's what I'm looking at outside right now. The lighting is good. It makes for good lighting, but when you're in it outside, everything just feels wet. Brett says, when my run gets hard, I would just hear Ko say, run pretty. Yeah, I tried to remember that. I tried to pick up my heels. Jimmy was telling me about that a lot. It didn't feel like it helped at all. It made it feel like it was worse. But I was like, but I'm still moving, so that's something. So I was like, let's just keep doing it. But yeah, I felt like I was really actually quite proud of myself in terms of looking back at the footage, especially the footage that Flores shot and sent me. I expected that when I went back to look at the footage, it would just look like I was just shuffling feet and like swinging my feet around, just wasting a lot of energy, because that's what tends to happen when I get tired. But I'm like, I don't look terrible. I mean, I look tired, but it doesn't look quite as sloppy as I was fearing that it did. Shannon says, I prefer races with hills because it feels like you get breaks when it flattens out downhill. Also, it's easier to get my pace down with elevation changes. Flat, you have to do it on your own. Well, that's true. I've been with the way I've been running these steady effort races. I think of the uphills. I try to think of the uphills as breaks, just like you do, Shannon. But I think of it as like the uphill is the break, because then I get to go slower. And so a lot of times I try to eat gels on the uphill because it forces me to slow down and keep that power number down, which means that I'm exerting less energy. And then I pick it up at like the crest of the hill and ride kind of like stride or bound down the hill is kind of like how I've been trying to approach it. And so that helps me mentally to not fear the hills so much. Just hills are breaks. Yeah, Matt Cornero. What's going on? Matt says Miguel's Guapo group. Yeah, it was a lot of the Guapos. It was pretty fun. It was fun to run with those guys. They were a good group to run in. All right. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to catch up with you guys. Let's see. Stephen Robinson says, hey, Mike, just been watching your LA recap video. Great recap and awesome result. Love the video. Thanks so much. I was they're always so long, and I'm always like worried. I'm like, people are going to hate this one. But I'm glad you guys are liking it. Jeremiah de Guzman says, what's up, Mike? Great job at LA Marathon. You really grinded that out. Ran the NYC half in 1:35 this past Sunday. Wild seeing Caputo, Rupp, Bentru, and Jared Ward running right by me. Well, that's pretty cool. I watched the race. I watched the live stream replay. 1:35. Great job running the New York City half. That's a race that I would like to run. It does look a little bit chilly though. And if it's always in March in New York could be a chilly day. But, that looks like a fun race to run. And now I'm like less afraid of running in New York, because I'm like, okay, I've done some hilly courses. I can do this. I've done some trail running with some hills. I've done some trail races with some hills. I feel like, okay, I can maybe do hills. I'm not great at them, but at least I don't have to be afraid of them, So that's a race that I would like to do. Yeah, you know what? I still think though that there needs to be a better way in terms of watching long distance races to follow more than just the lead pack. I just think that can't they get more trucks out there? like I want to know like what's happening in the chase pack. I feel like especially for like, the Olympics is one thing, but like, well, I think maybe especially in the Olympics, but like, like in the race in the U.S., like, the lead pack and like may not have that many Americans in it. So like for like local interest, can we have a second one just to follow wherever the lead Americans are? Like that's kind of what I would like to see, And I do feel like that, like when you watch the live stream of the New York City Half Marathon, it was nice because like it never cut away. And so like you would hear them do like and now we're going to go back to the studio, and you could see them about to like cut to commercial and stuff, but the feed just kept going. And after like 20 seconds, they were like, all right, now that we've taken care of that studio business, we can get back to the live stream. And then they would just start chatting and commentating some more. So it was really cool. So I feel like that was a good one. That was I like the way that they did it. All right. Adam Steves wants to know, you got some nice emojis up there. When you showed your stride info dropped out, do you think you were getting accurate power during the race? Like here's the thing, like all during that time, I was getting a power number. At no point did I think I was not getting a power number. So I think something is just happening in the data right. And I don't know if it's the stride is the issue or if the Garmin is the issue or what, So like something weird is happening in it. And I just don't know how to explain it. But like the power just dropped out. So like, like the total distance is off, but like the way that the elevation data gets written on top of, I feel like the gap was much smaller than that. Cause there was only 1 mile where like when I hit the lap button, it looked like it was 0.8 miles. And I was like, oh, I'm like 0.2 miles short. What's up with that? And then every other mile was like 0.98 is when I would hit it. But like it was a real short mile. And then I think that's probably like the only time it actually went out is in those 0.2 miles. But because the GPS tracing is longer, I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out a way to feel like it's has stretched it because it's trying to superimpose a power reading with a small data gap in it on top of a long, I don't know. So it's weird. It's weird. I'm not sure how to explain it, but yeah. I can't figure it out. Dr. Josh is here. He says, what up? Good to see you, Josh. How are you? And all right. Dr. Josh says he loves rollers, but he hates gradual up and down hills. Yeah, like there were some rollers in that middle section of this race, but like there was some big, long, sustained uphills. And like most of them were straight, so you could just see the whole way you could see the top from the bottom, and it's just like, oh boy, here we go. Oh man. Jonathan Crossley says that the Rock and Roll is bringing back the full marathon in Las Vegas next spring in February. Pretty ideal weather out there for it, and it's a really flat course. I saw someone's video about the half marathon on YouTube. And it looked like it looks like a great race, but I think it goes like Sunday night, right? Like it starts in the evening on Sunday. Is that right? It just makes it hard. That means you got to take the Monday off, especially if you're going to do a marathon. So that makes it a little bit tougher. But like I would like to run a race in Vegas, like in the winter, just because I think it'd be nice. Because then it'd be really flat. I think so. Like that, I feel like it'd be good. You got to get the timing of year right though, because summer you wouldn't want to do that. Frank says Tiger is doing grandmas too. He is. I got to get confirmation that I'm doing grandmas, but I talked to ASICS about it over the weekend, and they're like, we can get you in there. So I've got like the penciled in confirmation. I just don't officially have a bib yet, but I got to start making plans. I guess I got to figure out where I'm going to, I got to figure out where I'm going to stay, or I don't know if ASICS is going to help me with that. So yeah, but Tiger's doing it. I think a lot of people are going to be out there, in Duluth. So it should be a fun time. Jonathan Crossley says, if you can find a Concept 2 or similar rower, I highly recommend using it for some aerobic cross training. I've been doing some low heart rate rowing on there as well, and high intensity short intervals. Today I was just like, it's like I don't feel like putting on all the kit for the bike today. That was like the big reason why I actually was productive and did work. that I needed to do, like, grown up stuff. But like bookkeeping, things like that. But I was like, I don't want to go find. I really didn't want to put my feet into my bike shoes. I'm like, my toes are going to be angry if I do that. And I didn't want to go find like my cycling shorts and all that stuff. So I was like, maybe I'll just go down to the gym in this building. Middle of the day, there's probably not anyone in there. And I just want to hop on the spin bike and just like watch Netflix for like 30 minutes. Maybe I'll do that. I still might do that today. I don't know. I got to take the kids to swim class. So that's this evening. So I probably won't have time to do it. But yeah. But I would like to get to do something that's nice and relaxing. I was thinking about what I'm probably going to do is, I was thinking about today, I'll probably just end the live stream a little bit earlier than usual and then go for a long walk before I pick up the kids. Because that'll just get the blood flowing. It wouldn't be a run, but I don't really want to run right now. So I think I might just go for a long walk today. I think I'm going to walk, go find a place to grab a taco and like eat a taco and walk around for a little bit. That's my idea of recovery. That's my idea of like a post-marathon recovery session. Walk to a taco place, grab some tacos and walk around eating them. Shannon says, I didn't see people walking or stretching at the end of the race on Sunday because I was at the front of the pack. I wasn't at the front of the pack. There were so many people ahead of me. But I mean, I did mention that to someone else and they were like, there were not that many. He's like, there weren't a ton of people ahead of you to have crashed and burned too hard. So that's why you didn't see him. I'm like, really? I don't think so. I don't know. But maybe you're right. JC says, looking for my next cushion long day shoe, preferably New Balance. I've liked the 1080. Should I consider the more or any others? I mean, if you want it to be New Balance, I would say look at the 1080 if you've liked it in the past. If you like the 11, I've been seeing some stuff about the 12. I feel like you're probably gonna like the 12 if you like the 11. I would also look at the more because that's gonna be just a lot of cushion. I really like that shoe. I wish I had a pair of those kind of like right now. I wish like the 4 were out and I could just be testing that. Like after a marathon would be the perfect time to test that shoe. Or one of the things that I would want to test that shoe for. But I would say also look at the 880. I don't know. I feel like the 880 is just like a nice little sleeper shoe from them that I've really enjoyed. Brandon Palmer says, Taggart is actually my friend. Funny you mentioned him. He had ran a great race. I think the wind is what ruined a lot of times. Oh, okay. So the friend that you're saying he ran his first professional race there is Taggart? Yeah, I talked to Taggart before the race at the Matrix booth at the expo. We talked for a little bit. So we've interacted a little bit on Twitter. But we never actually met in person. So it was nice to be able to go down there and finally say hi to him in person. That's funny. I saw him on the course. And I tried to yell at him, but there's one point in the course where it's on that out and back section, and the point when you're going out goes uphill, and the way back is like on a lower level. So like the nice thing is you didn't have to go quite as high up on the way back on one of the hills, but he was like on the lower part, and I was going up, and I was trying to be like Taggart, but I was struggling. I didn't have the lung power to really yell at anyone. So I think it was more like, hey. I'm sure he didn't see it. All right. Let me scroll down a little bit. Brett said, I took your advice, Co, and ordered some Martin from the feed. Wow, does that calf gel and drink mix work? Yeah, the calf is strong. The first time you take it, it just punches you in the face. Yeah. So, yeah, it's strong. It's strong. I'm glad you're liking it, though. And Lou says, Kofuzi, when I saw you past the 24 mile, I saw you were not struggling, but then I saw the video and I understood what was happening. Oh yeah, I was struggling. I heard people, I heard people cheering for me, and I think I was like, yeah. I think Louis sent me like a video clip of it, and I at least acknowledged it. And I'm like glad that I did, but I was just like, I know like there was a couple of times when people were like Kofuzi, and I was just like, I wanted to wave, and I was like, I can't wave. So I tried to like give it like a big nod or something, whatever little I could do, because I was hurting. Stevie76 says, I was stoked banking 2+ minutes at last year's LA Marathon, but it went all down the drain when I had to use the porta potty at mile 12. Yeah, I mean, I did not intend to bank any miles at all. I was hoping to come through at about even. So I felt like when I saw, or at least in my mind, maybe my mind saw the 7 as a 9. I don't know. Maybe I came in through at 127.40, but I still saw 129.40, I was like, oh, I'm exactly where I want to be. It feels like it's a little bit hard of an effort, but, not bad, So I would have loved to have been at pretty much even at the halfway point, but maybe like a minute under, like 129 is probably the ideal place to be. But yeah. Luke Line says the New York City half is tough. He ran it this past weekend, and it's tough ups and downs. Oh, I can handle tough ups and downs now. I have the chant for it. I can. I will. I could do it. I could do it. I'll just do that the whole time. And Sue Ann said that, yeah, great weather and temps for the New York City half. They were lucky, I guess. Yeah, it looked like it wasn't terribly cold. So I was like, oh, that looks like a good race. It looked like a lot of fun. Manhattan Bridge looked intimidating to run up when I saw the recap or where I saw the live stream, But yeah. Brett said, was it hard to get rid of your Apple Watch and go to Garmin Polar? I worried about losing a lot of the smart features. It wasn't, because by the time that I had switched, I had kind of like a lot of the novelty for me in the Apple Watch had worn off. So I wasn't really using it that much. I wore it and I was constantly like interacting with people on it, I guess, but now I just use the phone. So like it wasn't too big of a deal for me. I didn't feel like I was losing anything. I felt like I was gaining a lot, because by the time I switched, like the watch just kept dying. Like I'd be on a long run, it wouldn't even be that cold, but like 40 minutes in, a podcast would end, and then I would try to switch to another podcast or switch to music, and that switching like would make the watch like do more work or something. It's always when you have, anyone who's had an old phone with a dying battery knows, like if you just leave it and don't touch it, it'll keep playing music the entire time. But if you try to do something, that's when it'll just shut off. And then I lost so many runs that way that, I just like, I can't keep losing stuff. So I felt like I was gaining so much by switching over. Videos says, great job, Co. Really impressed. Gotta confess, I had you pegged for a 305, 310 because LA is a tough course, especially if it gets hot. Plus, you record too. Congrats. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And Louis says about the hills, they look like they were never going to end. And he's going to do more hills to prepare for the next time. Yeah, those hills were tough. They were tough. I wouldn't lie about that. Jonathan Crossley says, in Vegas, there's an ultra event in February out there as well with tons of different races. Problem, it's on a sub 2 mile loop, so it can get boring. I'm wondering, like, how boring would that be? There's a race out here called like Last Chance BQ or something like that. And I think it's 2 or 3. Has anyone run that one? It's like 2 or 3 loops. It's supposed to be really flat, and it's like run like the last weekend usually of the cutoff before like, their submission of time, like whatever the window is for BQ times. And I'm like, I think loops would actually be helpful. Because, for me, it was like not knowing where the finish line was and not knowing where the turnaround was were like, I don't know, those were just mental sticking points for me. And I was just like, the race just felt like out of reach because I didn't know where any of those points were. But I feel like if I just ran in loops, I don't know, maybe that would help. I don't know. Thomasville says, hey, Co, great job in the PR. Now's the time to work on the swim. It's great for recovery. I was thinking about heading to the pool. I keep my tab on Chicago COVID numbers, but I think we're still doing okay. A little nervous about, how Chicago's going to fare after St. Patrick's Day, and all the festivities. But it would be a good time to get into the pool. Maybe I'll have to go back. Maybe I'll just aqua jog, walk around the pool for like half an hour. Steve Arnberg says, Invincible Run just arrived. Awesome. Not used to this much foam, but wanted to try them. It will be odd. It takes a little bit to get used to. It's very different. It's probably more different than any other shoe that I've ever run in. It's just got a weird bounce to it. You get used to it, and then you find like a rhythm, but it's a pretty assertive rhythm for me. I don't want to put too much other thoughts in your head about it, but Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I still like mine. JC wants to know if there's any cake left. Yeah, we're a little bit past the halfway mark, so we've got less than half left. Seeker Elite says, "Good day, everyone," with a nice wave. Says, "Congratulations on the race. Look back at being pushed at the end. Do you think in future races you will look back on this race and be able to find another gear when tired?" Absolutely, absolutely. I think that, I've structured a lot of my workouts for this build and for CIM with the idea that, like, I really want to know, like, I want to be strong for, when I'm and like late in a race. I want to be able to have that like late in the race simulation. But I think that that doesn't accurately simulate what it feels like to be in that spot. And so I feel like this experience is something that I'll draw from in the future for mental work. But I also think that I would like to do a little bit more racing, just to be in, and not necessarily marathon racing, but some shorter distances, so I can get that kind of feeling, which is hard to replicate. Like, even if you're doing 16-mile run with 10 miles, finishing with 10 miles, or finishing fast, or finishing like with a marathon block, like that like burn in the legs it still isn't there. It's different, So I'm like, there's got to be other ways to kind of simulate that feeling. But I think really maybe just racing some half marathons or something like longer than 10K, or like a 15K, something like that, is more of the way to kind of like do that. So I think that mentally it will help me. It helped me to understand how many tricks my mind was playing on me. There's all this like self-defense mechanisms going on, and that I can now identify that feeling in the legs as that's just like, the glycogen's drying up, but you're still good to go, and not like your muscles are about to lock up or you're going to fall down soon. I'm starting to like kind of discern that and understand and interpret that as just another metric, like your heart rate's higher or your respiration rate's a little bit higher, and not like, crazy red flags, like time to shut it down kind of thing. So I think that was like where it was like really, really helpful. And it says about the taco, getting a taco. After that race, a walk to get a taco sounds like it'll be well deserved. I think I'm definitely gonna do that today. The only hard part is it's like, I would like to have multiple tacos. Tacos are like sliders, right? Like, I never like them to be giant. I want them to be smaller, like street taco size. So like, how do I carry all the tacos that I'd want to bring? But, I think maybe the answer is just walk from one taco place to another. That could be another thing. Andrea says, what's going on? Andrea says, speaking of Vegas, Formula One is all about guaranteed to add Vegas to the 2023 race list. F1 cars coming down the strip at night would be almost as cool as Fuzi rumbling down the strip. I think that the F1 cars would be a little bit more interesting. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds really cool. That might be an event that I would want to go to. I haven't really followed watching F1 racing in years, maybe in about a decade. I mean, since Schumacher was still racing. It was probably the last time I really was following the sport. But that'd be really cool to see. Never seen an F1 car in person. Isayo Bin Liam says, congrats on the marathon, my guy. Well, thank you so much. It was a tough enough course as well. Yeah, I was telling people, like, it's an honest PR, that's for sure. So, yeah. And Lou says he's going to try the chant, the I Can, I Will chant at this weekend Sleepy Hollow Half. Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I was thinking about it, like, that would be funny if that became the thing that people yell at me. Because I'm like, everyone has, like, a thing that they yell at people. I feel like everyone yells at Megan Murray, like, about salmon. Now at the end of races, because she's talked about that so much. Like, if I'm like the think I can runner, that'd be kind of funny. There was someone else. I just think that, like, another runner who I think is going to start having this yelled at them a lot is Dakota Lindworm, because she's been talking about she's been getting interviewed a lot, since she got signed by Puma, and she's been talking about how in one of her earlier races she had a DNF. I think it was a DNF at CIM, and she was going to quit, and then she called her mom, and her mom was like, Dakota Marie, first and middle name, and trying to snap her out of it, and then I'm like, I think that's what people are going to start yelling at her. Come on, Dakota Marie, get out there. Remy says, Insta360 announced a new item. Thoughts on the One RS? I'm personally not very impressed. I've got I have two kind of lines of thought on it. I think the 360 module is not changed. So I would love to have seen 4K at 100 frames per second, 5.7K, the full resolution at 100 frames per second would be amazing. The other thing that's a little bit disappointing to me about it is that the 4K maxes out at 60 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it gets to 100 or 120 frames per second, and I'm very spoiled having that on the GoPro 10. But new chip inside, so new internals and bigger sensor for that, the standard lens, not the 360 lens. Supposed to give really good low light performance, and they're talking about improvements to the stabilization. So I'm going to test that one out. I think mine should be arriving today. So we'll be testing that as soon as I'm ready to get out there running. I think the big test will be I'll bring it to DC and do some testing down there. So we'll see if it can be a replacement, because I either bring a GoPro or I bring the 360 camera. I think for a trail race, it would be nice to be able to have some options, maybe not for a marathon or a half marathon, but for an ultra, yeah. And not bringing two cameras would be nice. But then again, it's I guess at an aid station, you could quickly do all that. But then if I've already got a pack on, I could fit in a GoPro and the One X2. So I don't know. We'll see. I feel I'm the good, I'm not sure how good of a review I can give it. We're going to have to see. Ron Tommy said it was just in Vegas this week. Drove 30 minutes and ran in snow on Mount Charleston, hoping the high altitude effect will last for 4 weeks. I'm not sure it lasts that long, but you never know. I think you should tell yourself that it will. So just go with that attitude, And Matt Perry just says, in terms of switching from a smartwatch to a running watch, he said same for me. I switched from Samsung Watch to the Coros Pace 2. He misses that daily tech, the smart watch features, but the run experience is so much better. Yeah, I feel it does watchy things so much better, and I feel from the wearable perspective, I don't know. Sometimes I feel it might be better for me and my mental health, and overall just kind of level of stress if I kept putting my phone away and only responded to things from the wrist, because the interaction is so limited, But then I was I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that when the next Apple Watch comes out, I'll probably get it. I said that for the last one too, but I'll probably wait to the 8 at this point. And get a new one just to see how much has changed in 4 years since I've had it. But I feel all the things I really need the watch to do, running watches do really well already. I all wish they did a little bit better of a job of kind of delivering the weather to me a little bit better. They all have a hard time with that. There's usually too many buttons I feel I have to press. That's something that I would just quick glanceable I would but other than that, they do kind of everything else I need. All right, let me scroll down. Sorry, I'm behind you guys. All right. Thomas says, and bring the Insta360 on the taco crawl. That's not a bad idea, but when I get it, I got to do the unboxing. Not that I do an unboxing, but I got to do the unboxing kind of thing, film it, or maybe I'll unbox it for you guys tomorrow. You guys don't really need that though, do you? And then I like to take the B-roll footage of it before I get it all scratched up, So we'll see, but maybe I'll do a taco crawl tomorrow too. The week is my oyster, I guess. Yeah, so lots of opportunities. Cameron McBride says, "Hey, Mike and all, rare opportunity to drop in, but huge congrats on the LA Marathon Co. Very inspiring." Well, it's good to see you again, Cameron. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you so much. And Underestimated, hey, what's going on? He says, any thoughts on the next race? Is it too soon? I think that the next event I'm going to is going to be the Cherry Blossom 10 miler in Washington, D.C. I saw some pictures today at D.C., like looking over, I don't know what body of water that is when you're looking over at like the Jefferson Memorial, but there are some cherry blossoms over there in bloom, and it looks absolutely beautiful. At least is that what I saw? It was a sunrise photo. I think that's what I saw. But yeah, it looks beautiful. I'm really excited to see the cherry blossoms. I don't think I've ever seen them in person in bloom, so I'm really excited about that. That'll be a fun race. Believe in the Run people will be there. So I don't know exactly who's going, but I was texting with Thomas today. He said he's going to be there. So it'll be good to see those guys again too. And I don't know. I got to go look at my 10-mile PR. Granted, we'll be 2 weeks away from a marathon, but I feel like I haven't raced a 10-mile race, certainly since before the pandemic, but even then it'd been a couple of years. So, I might be able to squeeze out a PR, but we'll see how I'm feeling that day. It might just be a fun run, just go and enjoy the sights. So that's going to be the next event. I think the next big race will be for me is going to be Grandma's, and there will be some events in between there too. It's going to be really busy. I've got a lot of like personal travel that I need to do, but and then some other family events, which is fun. So when I say personal events, that's stuff that's not so fun. Then I have some fun family stuff that I got to do, and then I have a lot of other running events that I'll be doing. So I'll just be traveling a lot. It's going to be crazy. Before I know it, we're going to be in the middle of July. Because the next few months are just gonna fly right on by. It's gonna be great, but it's gonna be a whirlwind for sure. All right. Ooh, Scott's doing his 10-miler this weekend. It's the first in person of the year for him. All right. Hope you're feeling good, Scott. Hope you enjoy. Lou says that water I was thinking of is the Potomac. Yeah. There's so many nice areas to run in DC. I mean, the whole area is just kind of like a big, giant park in a lot of ways, at least by the mall. And there's just so many, there's water, there's beautiful trees, sunrises, it's really nice. Monuments, and Remy says, my sister-in-law is running the Cherry Blossom race. Really cool. Awesome. New Vetra says, my Garmin Fenix 6 does weather, but sometimes has trouble pulling in that data. That's the main problem that I have. It doesn't always pull it up right away. And then sometimes with the Garmin, and it happens with my Polar too, it'll be like, I've had the watch and the phone near each other all day, but then I'll look at the watch and it'll be like, data has not updated for 12 hours. And I'm like, what? So I don't get it. Runner Estimate said, are you running Chicago this year? Yes, you're running Chicago this year, aren't you? Are you coming up? You're making the trip? Hopefully, that's what I thought you were, right? So hopefully I'll see you then. Jason says, used to live in D.C., paved trails everywhere that stretch across D.C. and through Arlington. It is amazing. I like the Arlington area too. It feels very like, Atlantic to me, in Arlington. I don't know what that exactly means, but if you live in the area, I think you know what I mean. And Trevor Holtzman said he's ran the Shamrock Shuffle for the first time last weekend. That's a fun race. Didn't realize how big it was. Yeah. It felt like the Chicago Marathon. It is a giant race. It seems like everyone races it. It's over 10,000 people, I think, which is a lot for an 8K, I think, But it's what they say is, it's the unofficial start of the Chicago running season. So everyone's really excited to do it. Everyone's kind of a little bit out of shape from over the winter, and so it's kind of like a rust buster for a lot of people. It's always great when it happens and the weather's nice on the weekend. The time that I did it, it was so cold. So basically everyone was shivering, drinking their beer. You just drink the beer real fast and then you go because you're just too cold to hang out. But when it's a little bit warmer, I imagine it's going to be spring is here, Frank says DC has a bunch of nice rail to trail conversions going in every direction, in addition to the capital stuff. Oh, maybe that's something that I'll try. Although, like, I feel like if I'm gonna do a Kofuzi Run Club DC, we got to get like a picture in front of like the Lincoln Memorial, like the Lincoln Memorial or something, like in front of the reflecting pool. It's got to be something like that, right? Now I kind of wish I had more time. I'm like, well, I want to do the rail to trail run too. Runner Estimate says yes, he's gonna be here, New Zealand to Chicago. Awesome, that's cool. Can't wait to meet you in person. And Scott is also going to be running Chicago this year. Yeah, I think we're going to have a really good turnout for the Kofuzi Run Club Chicago. I'm looking forward to it already. I'm going to try to plan some even bigger stuff. So, like, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't even know what to plan yet, but, like, I want more things. I just, because, I mean, like, there's people that come from all over. I want to, like, I was telling the people from ASICS, I'm like, my goal is to encourage runners, but also brands and race organizers, everyone to start thinking about these as like, these are family weekends. They're, it's more than just like hurry up and go to the expo and then race and then you're on your plane to go home. Like you traveled here or you drove in from somewhere, like you can make a weekend of activities from it. If you're local, then just, there's local events that you could do. I just think that it should I think the races should be a bigger deal, So, like, I want to help do that. I want to have a bunch of events. I want to have, like, something that you guys can attend, both like a running event and then an attending event. Like last year I wanted to do all those interviews, like with Emily and with Dr. Josh. I wanted to do those in person, but didn't, still like COVID times. So, Andrew says, I think the Shamrock Shuffle was more like 25,000 people. Is it that big? I knew it was certainly like over 10, but I didn't want to overstate it. So 25, I mean, that is a giant race. It's got to be one of the biggest Shamrock Shuffles then. And Andrew says that his next big event is Grandma's as well. Awesome. Hopefully I'll be able to meet you sometime during the weekend. Yeah, I mean, I got to start planning some stuff, I got to see maybe someone who's familiar with Duluth. I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of locals to Duluth in the live stream, right? No, anyone from Duluth in the chat, but maybe someone that's been up there before. We can talk. We can figure out maybe some places that could be more centrally located. I'm guessing like towards the finish, like if we do it the day before, that might be a good way to do it. We'll see. And Lou says, I'm excited for the Cherry Blossom 10 mile. Should be a great day and a great run. Like 8 to 10 of my team are going to be there too. Oh, cool. Really cool. And Fantastic says, I'll do a couple more and then I gotta go. Did I misremember? Are we planning on attending the Boston Marathon this year to spectate? You remembered correctly. I was planning on it. I don't think I'm going to be able to go this year, guys. You remember I mentioned that I got a lot of travel I got to do. Fun family stuff, some personal stuff that's not so fun, but stuff that I need to take care of. And then, running events. I think with all that travel, I think I got to not go this year. It's a real bummer. I'm really bummed out. I saw the emails that like Featherston is going to be doing an event, a shakeout run from like the ASICS track house. I talked to some of the Tracksmith people over the weekend. They were talking about all the fun stuff they were going to be doing. And I'm like, oh man, I'm really going to have FOMO that weekend. But I don't think I can go. Next year though. I mean, I've got 2 solid times now to make sure I get a bib for 2023. So I'll be there for sure. So sorry about that, guys. So that's one that I will be having to like cross off my list. Plus, I just had that I was just like having a hard time with what happened with Steven, Serious Runner. And I'm like, I don't want to go all the way out there and then like have to like get in an argument with the BAA because I made a video and I didn't get a license, even though I've tried contacting them multiple times about getting a license. So like all that put together made it just like, meh. But not that I couldn't make a video of the weekend without, anyway, but either way, it was just, there was a lot of things that were telling me I probably shouldn't go this year. All right, Secure Elite says, I'm running a half marathon on Saturday and a full on Sunday for Gold Coast Marathon. Whew. Yeah, half marathon, easy racing, and then full. What shoes would you recommend? Currently training in the 1080s. So the half marathon is easy, and he's racing the full. So if you're in the 1080s, if you want to stay New Balance, then I would say run in the 1080s for your half marathon if that's going to be the easy one, and then race in the RC Elite 2s if you have a pair of those. But otherwise, I'm not sure that I would necessarily switch it up this close to the marathon if the marathon's on Sunday. I think that if you are just looking for a racer, I would say probably the thing that's going to be the closest to what you're training in while still giving you a race feel is that RC Elite 2. So that's kind of where I would probably look first. And then the other three that I kind of recommend to everybody would be like Alpha Fly, Vaporfly, and then Metaspeed Sky. Those are the three that I feel like there's a really high percentage that those three shoes will also work really well for people. So, yeah. All right. Luke Klein says, I hope to get into DC in time for the Cozy Run Club. I think we leave New York at 9 a.m. Okay. Should I do it later in the day? I was asking Thomas if he wanted to try and do something together. And he's like, they aren't leaving till Saturday either. So I'm like, if I do it at Saturday morning, I think the people traveling for the race might not make it. But there's lots of people that are local that I think would probably prefer to do a run in the morning. So I'm not sure what to do about that. All right, so we'll have to figure that out. I'm still thinking about it. All right. And Remy says, you got to make it a racecation. I always like to have more fun around my race trips. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. So I'm all for it, and I'm trying to encourage you guys to all do it too. It's a great. I was just like, it's like a con. It's like a convention. You get to meet. It's like you get to meet your Instagram feeds when you go to races. You know what I'm saying? So it's just fun. You get to meet people that you've been interacting with, liking their posts, commenting on their stuff, and following their journeys. So there's just so much to it. It's not just I'm single-handedly doing stuff, but I'm just trying to show people there's you can go, and it's super fun to meet people that way in real life. I'm ready for it. Hopefully the world stays ready for it, or in a condition where we can continue doing that. But that's kind of my take. All right, I think that's going to be it for today, everybody. I'm not sure if there's going to be a video for tomorrow, but we will do a live stream. Tomorrow's going to be happy hour. I got to think, what am I going to drink for happy hour tomorrow? I have to pick something up. So I'll think of something, guys, and I'll see you then with some recovery beverages of some sort. We'll have to see. Hopefully I'll see you then, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. And in the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.